Today we're going to be talking about the Newberry Award winning book, The Giver by Lois Lowery, right here. I want to tell you a little bit about the book before we get started reading it. First of all, in the book, it follows a boy who's just about to turn 12 years old. His name is Jonas. Now, Jonas is about to embark on a really important ceremony that tells him what his lifetime job is going to be. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I want to leave it as a surprise, but it'll give you something to look forward to. Now, Jonas lives in a world that's really different from the world we live in. He lives in what we call a utopia, where there's nothing really sad like disease, sickness, poverty, anything like that. Basically, they live in a world that's very safe. There's lots of rules that he has to live by. There's so many rules that families can't even have more than 2 children, only a boy and a girl. So you're going to find that his world is a lot different from ours. But I think as you read it, you might be able to relate to some things in his world, even if it does seem so different. Now, I want to talk about a couple of things that I want you to be thinking about when you read this book. This book can be sort of confusing, even though it can be quite interesting to read. I've heard many people say they don't quite understand what Lois Lowery was meaning when she wrote this book. And I hope by giving you some ideas of things to think about as you're reading it, I'll kind of help you to maybe come to an understanding of why she may have written this book. First of all, I want you to think about the idea of sameness versus individuality. In this book, there's so many rules. Everyone has to live the exact same way as if it's going to give them a safer sort of world. Now, at the same time, Jonas starts to experience things that are really wonderful, that make him unique. Things like feelings, doing something that he wants to do. Now, I want you to think about how difficult it might be to have to be the same as your neighbor or as your brother or your sister and to have things like your job assigned to you. So that brings us into choice, freedom. That's a main theme in this book, that even though you might make the wrong choice, you still have the freedom to make that choice. In this book, you'll see people who don't have the freedom to make even a wrong choice, and how that impacts the society. I also want you to think about things you've learned in history, maybe cultures or societies, other countries, events in history that might remind you of people that have lived in a place similar to this. The last thing is memory. Memory is really important. Our memories may remind us of happy things, and they might remind us of sad things. Memory is a big theme in this book, and it shows how important a world is to have those memories and what would happen if you didn't have them. So I want you to be thinking about people you know that may have Alzheimer's, that have lost their memory, and how much of a loss of life there is. So as you read this book, you're going to be going through the first 5 chapters before we get together again, and we're going to start talking about what's happening in the book and kind of working your way through.